Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Anta GH3. So this shoe is going for 135 bucks, which is a definite bummer just because the GH1 and GH2 were like around 100 bucks and super cheap, you know, so they definitely did increase the price a good amount. If you guys do want to get it, I'll leave a link in the description box, but let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. And they're calling this the race car tire traction pattern. It's pretty much like a herringbone, like a modified herringbone a little bit. We have a midfoot chain plate, which we'll get into, and then around the perimeter of the shoe, we have kind of like little line nub things, right? And it gets bigger here in the heel. So how is the traction? Traction actually is pretty damn nice. The bite is really good, very high pitched and loud squeak. And if you're playing on a clean court, you should be good. You're gonna have a good time. That's a very, very nice bite, really good bite actually. For dust on the other hand, it does definitely suck. So I would say it's inconsistent. So I would have some good days where dust wasn't a huge issue, and some days where dust is a pretty big issue. And also another thing to watch out for is if you let too much dust build up, it does slide out pretty dangerously. So of course, just keep in mind, you have to keep wiping, and it picks up dust pretty quickly. So if you're playing on a dusty court and you don't like wiping, you should probably stay away from the GH3. If you wipe consistently though, you should be fine. You're gonna be having good stops. But also another thing that I did experience is that when I was doing like hard stops on a dusty setting, I would slide out a little bit as well. On a clean court, I was good. But on a dusty setting, if I was doing like a very hard kind of like lateral movement or kind of like a pull-up jumper where I'm going forward and stop pretty hard, it did slide out a good amount on a dusty court. So just be careful on that. As far as durability goes, it should be fine. I mean, Anta, Li-Ning, or just Chinese companies in general make very, very durable outsoles for their demographic. It's a very hard rubber. You got deep grooves as well. So should be fine playing with these shoes on outdoor court. So for me, it was a very nice experience, just a little annoying when I was sliding out and I didn't have time to wipe. But other than that, I did enjoy the traction. Moving on to the heel to toe transition. So here in the heel, we have a very nice curve shape. I mean, we have a little bit of the cage coming here into the heel, which does cage the cushion a little bit. But overall, you know, it does feel very smooth here in the heel, and then here in the forefoot, it feels very nice with this really curved shape. We have a nice rocking motion, and look at that, we have a lot of forefoot flex. So overall, heel to toe transition is super smooth. And like I said earlier, we do have a midfoot chain plate, which is for torsional support. All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. So for the overall midsole, we have a flash edge. And then here in the forefoot, we have nitro edge. So nitro edge, it's kind of like Boost. It looks like Boost actually, but it's Anta's own formula, right? They probably redid the composition of chemicals and materials or whatnot that are put into the actual midsole. Of course, differing it from like Boom Cushion that Li-Ning has or like Boost that Adidas has. But anyways, that's in the forefoot. So overall, the cushioning setup is pretty nice. I would say it's more just like a responsive type of feel that's low to the ground, especially here in the forefoot. There is a good amount of compression here in the forefoot and here in the heel, which does feel pretty nice. Step-in comfort is pretty good as well. I can feel the nitro edge cushion a little bit underneath my foot. It's just like a subtle compression and also a subtle bounce back, which does feel nice, but it's nothing crazy. So overall, if you're looking for a responsive cushioning setup that's low to the ground, that also offers good impact protection and compression, this is a very good cushioning setup. Just don't expect something crazy with a lot of softness and bounce. But overall, I liked the cushioning setup of the GH3. All right, moving on to the material. So it's a very thin material, as you guys can see. It's super thin, conforms to your foot pretty well. There's no break-in time needed also. You know, like in old school materials where there's synthetic materials used, for example, like in the Kobe 5, it did need some break-in time, right? But this material, it felt very, very nice and comfortable. I had no issues with it. It does feel a little flimsy though, but overall it's nice. There's no stretch to the material, so it's a very supportive material, which I guess is good. But you're not gonna get like a cozy kind of feel from it, you know, like comparing it to like a fly knit or a knit type of material, jacquard, even mesh, you know. So that definitely does suck. You do lose a little bit of comfort from that, but overall on foot, it felt pretty nice to me. It stays pretty damn thin here in the midfoot. And here in the ankle area, there is a little bit of padding, like more in the back of the heel. And also, I like this purple lining. It looks pretty nice. Kind of reminds me of like a nice luxury car interior a little bit, you know? And then for the tongue, we have a little bit of screen mesh, which is kind of weird. There's like an average amount of padding, I would say, nothing too crazy. And also this tongue is connected to this strap, right? Which we'll get into for support and lockdown. But overall, the material feels super minimal and also very supportive on foot, which I liked. All right, moving on to the fit of the shoe. So the fit was really nice for me personally, but it's a really snug fit, guys, like super snug. Yeah, I would say on par with like the KD13, maybe even a little bit more snug than that, just because this material doesn't really stretch out all too much because of the synthetic kind of feel to it, right? So yeah, I mean, here in the toe box, it's extremely snug. I can't curl my toes up at all. So if you like a roomier fit, I would suggest going up half a size. For me, I went true to size. And as you guys can see here in the toe box, it's a pretty skinny, like narrow kind of fit. You know, it gets very pointy here at the end of the toe. So yeah, I mean, I would say there's a little bit of length, just a tiny bit for me. But I mean, if I went down half a size, it would be way too much. So yeah, true to size for me was good. If you like a nice snug fit and you have kind of a skinny foot, you should be good going true to size. If you want kind of like a roomier fit, then of course go up half a size. I feel like if you have a wide foot or you want a roomy, like super roomy fit, probably go up a full size just because it's a super snug fit here in the toe box. So for me, I really like the overall fit. And also the shoe is very easy to put on. You know, you have a high heel tab, the tongue opens up a lot. Moving on to the support and lockdown, zero issues with it. So for lateral containment, I was good to go. We have this cage, right? This cage acts as a cage, of course, for the midsole and acts as a sidewall for lateral containment. So here in the forefoot, we have this cage coming up acting as a sidewall here in the midfoot and also here in the heel. And we have an external TPU heel counter. So lateral containment was super good for me. And also lateral stability was very good. We have a very wide base. As you guys can see, this part of the midsole protrudes out a lot. So you have a nice low wide base. So lateral stability was very good for me as well. Lockdown was freaking amazing, guys. Like, this shoe has really good lockdown. I love this like strap system that they implemented here in the GH3. So this strap connects to the tongue, and then when you tighten the strap down, the tongue kind of just, it like cranks down on your foot, and it feels really nice for lockdown. But one thing, or actually two things that I found kind of annoying is that look at how little you can tighten like the strap. This white part is all you can do, right? So I wish you could tighten it up a little bit more. I mean, it still works well, right? I definitely feel the lockdown from the straps. You got one here on the lateral side as well as here on the medial side, but I wish you could tighten it down a little bit more, you know what I mean? And also here on the medial side, I'm just like clumsy, I guess. So when I'm playing and running, I kind of like hit my shoes, I guess, like this a little bit. And the strap, or both of these straps, came undone sometimes, which was kind of annoying. Of course, that doesn't really have anything to do with performance, but if you're a klutz like me, just I guess be careful for that. But support and lockdown was freaking amazing in this shoe. Really nice. All right, moving on to the weight of the shoe. If I remember correctly, it was like a little bit heavy, like 13 point something. 13.19 ounces. Let's check the other pair. 12.95, so it's around 13 ounces. So the weight is a little bit heavier than average for my size shoe, and it's not a huge deal, you know. Like I said, probably the weight of the shoe is coming from like the midsole, you know. This material is just super thin, probably doesn't add a whole lot of weight to the shoe, so it definitely does feel a little bottom heavy, but it doesn't feel bulky really at all. It has actually a very nice and streamlined shoe that fits your foot very well, locks it down really nicely, especially with like these straps. The material feels super supportive, traction is really good, cushion is responsive. So when I was playing in it, I felt really quick and very responsive and also light on my feet. I had no issues with the shoe and I really enjoyed playing with it. All right, as far as the ventilation goes, ventilation is not very good. So there's not a whole lot of airflow through this material. There's a little bit of airflow through this like mesh in the tongue, but of course it's not that much airflow. So this shoe is gonna feel a little bit on the warmer side of things for ventilation. As far as the aesthetics go, I like it. You know, it looks great. I love this colorway, and also there's another colorway available. It's like a black and white color with some red accents. It reminds me of the Curry 2 suit and tie, which I absolutely love that colorway. So yeah, I like the overall silhouette of the shoe. Tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, for 135 bucks, I still feel like that's a pretty good price. You know what I mean? Like most shoes are priced around there, like 130 bucks. And then kind of like more premium shoes are around like 150 bucks. And then like top of the line, super expensive shoes are like 180. So 130, I feel like it's still a pretty good price point, but I do miss the cheaper price that they were giving us at like 100 bucks, you know what I mean? But anyways, disregarding the price, this shoe is a great performer. If you're a guard and you're looking for a responsive shoe, and also a very supportive shoe, this is a great option. If you're a bigger dude, I still feel like you should be fine in this. You know, the support is top tier. Also, lockdown is very, very good in this shoe. Cushion is good and traction is good as well. So if you're a big guy looking for a super supportive shoe, you should also be fine in the GH3. I feel like it's a shoe that most people will enjoy. So anyways, it is Soul Brothers approved. It's gonna be in my rotation. I really like playing in this shoe. So that about concludes my review of the Anta GH3. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.